It's familiar territory for the Orange and Blue. Down a game to start a series. Can the return of Evander Kane surge the Oil to victory? We get you set for Game 2 between the Oilers and the Kegs right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning into the pregame show. Tom Gazzola live on location. Hudson's Bourbon Street. So good to be back. It was, I think, December the last time we broadcast from here, and it is busy, and I see a lot of reserved placards on tables. Lieutenant Eric is here already, and Dusty will be here shortly. Belzy's thinking about coming down. Hernan, after the pregame show, will be stopping by as well, so come by, have a beverage, have a bite to eat. They've got 49-cent wings going tonight, $6 house pints. I have one of the last 6 o'clocker loggers. Steve, the GM here, said that he will be restocking, and he was talking to Alley Cat, Cam, and the fine folks over there, Sarah and the crew, Paige. They're awesome. We're going to restock the Alley Cat 6 o'clockers here at Hudson's Bourbon. I might have reserved whatever's left of the 6 o'clocker lager, Nan. So my bad, but I'm a thirsty boy, Nancito. And you know, when you're a thirsty boy, you need a beverage, right?
Yeah, no, I've heard rumors it's packed down there, so I don't know if there's a spot for me, so I might just chill there.
I see Eric. He's got a stump at the bar. He's been hanging out. He's talking to bartender Jeff. They love their Premiership soccer, so they talk about it all the time. But there might be room if you're a solo patron, or maybe someone they get no shows sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of reserved spots. But I would say, Hernan, come on down. We'll make sure we got room for you, buddy. No excuses tonight, okay? Be here watching the game with friends.
No excuses.
How about that?
Sure.
No excuses for the Oilers tonight, too, right?
Oh, no. We're out of those, man.
No more excuses.
But you know what? I got a good feeling, man.
You do?
I got a really good feeling. I'm wearing my lucky hat. It's been a good day. The sun has popped through those clouds.
Yes.
And there's no way the Oilers are losing this game. The Oilers are far too experienced, far too veteran, have far too much star power. They'll win tonight, Tom.
Okay. All right. I like that confidence. You're out. That's it. No more. You done? Okay. You can text us 780-218-9999, or if you want, get to the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. If you agree with Hernan and they have far too much star power, they're not losing this game, you got a good vibe, you tell us. Or you feel the opposite, or somewhere in between, let us know your thoughts. I will also mention that GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show, they're also providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers, injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. So Hernan feels really good about tonight. I think in the last 5 years in the playoffs with this group, I don't really worry about them anymore.
That's the thing.
If they go down a game, it's like, yeah, I've seen this. They probably will come back. They'll do it in a way that creates heart attacks.
Yeah,
it's a roller coaster ride. It's never simple and easy for this group. They always complicate things.
It's a team with the way the third period unfolded, Tom, the way McDavid and Draisaitl played. The boys are going to be ready to go from puck drop. I think Skinner
so.
bounces back. We're going to get to the lineup, so I won't ruin it. But you're getting a couple pieces back, guys that have veteran, they're experienced. So, and I don't know, Tom. Do you think that comeback in the third rattled LA a little bit, or do you think just because they won?
100%, 100%, because you're on cruise control. All of the stuff you did during the season, the acquisitions you make are providing a difference. And then in the third period, you go from everything being hunky-dory to look out, because the Oilers and McDavid and the train is on its way to you up and your day. And their day they almost did. So, yeah, I think something that Cass said in Game Changers prior to game 1 on the show, create doubt. Even though the Oilers didn't win that game, I think that third period created doubt
For sure.
I stand by that.
I'm with you, man. And look at Darcy Kemper. Like, let's be honest. 10 shots after 40. He wasn't tested on any of those. And
No.
when they did test him, he didn't make a save, man. Like, I know he got the one on Arvidsson. I think he got a piece of it, which is probably
the knob. He got the knob on it. Yeah.
The only good save he made that night. So, listen, they know they can get to Kemper. I think special teams is going to be huge. The Oilers need to get it going. Their PK needs to be improved.
Yes.
And
Not good the other night.
I thought Joaquin made a good point. Like, they're rolling out 5 forwards. That is the LA Kings. Like, there's opportunity for the Oilers to escape a PK on a 2-on-1 or an odd man rush. And like Gager said, go to the net because they're not defenders back there, right? Like, don't circle around, crash the net, do what you can. There is opportunity, but it's a fascinating game, Tom. I think I picked them to win by multiple goals tonight. I just think the Oilers...
confident.
Every time the Oilers kind of, were a little bit down on them, they didn't play too well, they find a way. And that's why tonight I think it's going to be a different story. I think they're coming back home with the split.
All right, share your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Do you agree with Hernan coming home with the split? Do you think they did enough damage in that third period to rattle the LA Kings? Maybe you disagree. We want to hear from you. Get into the text line. And then jump into the nasty chat. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're so close to 11,600 subscribers. If you haven't yet, please do. Like Dusty was saying on the morning show, I think he's like 35% of our viewers are not subscribed because we can tell. It gives us all those stats. Awanik loves the data. He analyzes data. He consumes a lot of data. And he makes decisions based upon the data.
Maddie.
So get on it. That's his middle name. All right, we're going to have Matt Kassian, our game analyst, joining us shortly for Game Changers. We do have Jonathan Davis in as our Kings insider tonight. Dennis Bernstein will be back with us live on location at the Canadian Ice House for Games 3 and 4. That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting back there. I have to say a huge thank you to everybody that has hosted us this year and in years past and allowing us to do our shows and broadcasts from the on-location spots. Absolutely tremendous. Had a chance to catch up with Steve and Adam here from Hudson's Bourbon Street. They are tremendous. And it was like a reunion. And I know this is one of Lieutenant Eric's go-to spots, as is Boston Pizza Westgate. But Jeff, the bartender, and my buddy Kobe, who I grew up with back in Londonderry, is also bartending. Amy's here. She's great. Lavella's helping us out. So a phenomenal staff, great environment, tons of screens. The sound will be up. They've got a DJ that will be playing during the intermissions. And then, like I said, it's wing night, 49-cent wings, $6 house pints. Join us. I know some nasties. I think Rip City Step will be coming down. I just saw Fergie's prostate. Gave me the middle finger as is tradition, as his greeting towards me. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nasties are going to be nasty. Middle finger from Fergie. Totally expected. And
respect, man.
You know what? I think that is a sign of respect from Fergie. To be honest. Okay.
I got your back.
Thank you. You got me. And then Hernan's like, I don't know if I'm coming down. I heard it's busy. Lieutenant Eric sending his scouting report. Come on down, Nancito. We always have room for you. Dolphin Nation, by the way, talking about Hernan, saying, Hernan always calms me down.
Really?
All right.
I don't think
he does.
I don't think anyone's ever said that about me, but I appreciate that.
Oh, Wheels just showed up. Atif is here. No sign of his brother, Asif. Usually, you're the one getting fired up, Hernan. Yeah, dropping the bombs, all the time.
I've been calm.
I'm the one who was the Italiano heat the other night.
You were. I liked it.
I was very calm until I started talking about Josh Brown, and I went back and watched it when I got home that night. Well, it was the morning by the time I got home. I think I got home at like 3. Oh, my goodness. And I was just like, boy, you really got a little bit spicy there, like the Latino heat. And I think the more I talked about it, I tried to leave the Josh Brown decision to play him out of my head. The more I talked about it, the first 5 minutes in the show, the angrier I got. My mind's like, that was stupid. Why'd they play him? Why? Oh, maybe they thought it wasn't going to cost them, and it cost them in the first shift. And then he barely played, but somehow he was +1. But that was a ridiculous decision to put him in. There's no way he plays in game 2. Is there? No way. Well, guess what? He won't be playing in game 2, and that's a good thing for the Oilers.
I like how today Knobloch was asked, and he will play more than Josh Brown. And I think it's hilarious. I loved it because I never expected Josh Brown to set off Tom Gazzola, but he did.
It's the premise of it too, Hernan. Like,
yeah,
you have a guy who literally was not skating for a month, taking care of family stuff, awaiting the arrival of a baby, and was gone for a month. He's not practicing. He's not doing any of these. He's taking care of family stuff. It's being a good husband. It's being a good family man. I respect the hell out of that. But why are you playing this guy when he just got back to your farm team? I think he might have played one game down there, but he just starts skating again. They have to call him up because they're so shorthanded with injuries late in the season with the big club. And you're playing him in game 1. And then your other option is a guy who's a veteran guy, 25, 26 years old, in Cam Dineen, who's been playing 25-plus minutes a night solidly. One of the guys that the Condors and Colin Chalk has been relying upon, that's even helping give them a remote sniff at the postseason down in Baco. And you're not going to play him. You're going to play the guy who struggles with speed, struggles with the puck on his stick. He's big, he's physical when he can catch guys, but he hasn't played in a month. So that got me going. So I stand by everything I said the other night. It's not the case tonight. And rest assured, no Josh Brown for the Oilers tonight. All right, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. We're going to get to Matt Kassian shortly here for Game Changers. Before we do that, we're going to get to the starting lineups brought to you by South Fort Chev. Buy now and save 0% financing, OAC up to 72 months, or save up to $8,000 on 2025 Silverado 1500s. Cal in the Park and Sarah are here. Great to see more nasties. They're looking good. Sarah's got her Andy Moog jersey. Very nice. It's also that time of year for seasonal tire change service. Mention that EST sent you and receive on-rim tire changes for $59.95 plus tax. They're also giving away a big discount on inspections when you get your tires changed. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. Drive a little, save a lot. South Fort Chev, our good friends over there. For the Oilers, McDavid between Draisaitl and Perry, the nuclear option has been activated. RNH between Evander Kane making his return and Zach Hyman, Evander Kane's first game since June 10th. That was game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. Adam Henrique between Trent Frederick and Josh Brown. Matthias Janmark, 2-game playoff scoring streak for Janmark. Scored in game 1, scored in game 7. He'll be between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. On defense for the Oilers, Nurse with Bouchard. Wallman with John Klingberg making his return to action. Hasn't played in a few weeks. And then Brett Kulak with Ty Emerson. No Jeff Skinner. No Kasperi Kapanen. No Max Jones. No Josh Brown. No Derek Ryan. As for the LA Kings, we won't get any changes to the lineup until warm-up. Zach Dooley, the Kings insider, was saying don't expect any lineup changes. Jim Hiller is not giving away anything in his press conferences. So as a quick reminder, it was Kopitar between Kuzmenko and Kempe. Byfield centering Fiala and Laferriere. Deneau between Fogle and Moore. Helenius with Malott and Turcotte on defense. Mikey Anderson with Drew Doughty. Vladislav Gavrikov with Jordan Spence. Joel Edmondson with Brant Clark. There was no Akil Thomas in game 1. No Kyle Burrows. No Jacob Moverare. We'll see if there are any changes there. Your starting goalies for tonight, 26-year-old Stu Skinner. 0-1 this postseason with a .626 goals against average, .800 save percentage in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. Lifetime versus the Kings in the postseason. Skinner is 7-4 with a .330 GAA, .891 save percentage, 1 shutout in those 12 playoff appearances versus LA. And then you got Darcy Kemper at the other end of the rink, 1-0 this postseason, 5.0 goals against average, .800 save percentage in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. He is 1-0 lifetime versus Edmonton in the postseason, .550 goals against average, .805 save percentage in 2 playoff games against Edmonton in his career. That quickly takes us to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. If your back hurts more than your pride after a triple bogey, it's time for an assessment at Advantage Sport Medicine. All you golfers out there, I love it. It is golf season. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977 For the Oilers, Troy Stetcher, day-to-day, undisclosed. Matthias Ekholm, lower body. Alec Regula, IR knee. Wow, that list is much shorter than it was about a week ago. As for the LA Kings, Tanner Jeannot, undisclosed injury, still out. If he's in, that would be a surprise. And that brings us to Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Brought to you, as always, by David Bunting Real Estate. David Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He's community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city, so check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Let's go, Matt Kassian.
Oh, the applause. The applause.
Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Cass, how are you today?
I'm good, buddy. My skin has grown a little thicker after last post-game show. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good about the game tonight, Tom.
So is Hernan. I like this. I like the positivity. Maybe it's
good. Yeah, well, hey, hopefully the Edmonton Oilers are feeling the same positivity, and hopefully the LA Kings are feeling a little bit of nerves coming into this one. But Tommy, hey, there's some momentum, it feels like, coming out of that last game. Now, whether it holds, I guess we'll see. But I'm hopeful heading into it.
All right, I just want to get to this before we dive in. VR Montenegro just showed up. He slipped me a note, no money in it, but I will read it out loud. It says, "Can you please play Titanium by David Guetta? It's my jam, my lady jam. Thanks, cutie. XOXO VR." Well, you can take a hike, VR, but it's good to see you. I am
DJ
not
Tom.
the DJ.
Yeah.
I will not
DJ Tom
seat
in
you.
the house.
Yeah, got a new on-air light here. Don't even cross me today. All right, Cass. Well played, VR Montenegro, by the way. You are hilarious, Mike. Let's get into it. Point number one of Game Changers as the Oilers look to even up this series. Evander, hips don't lie, Kane.
Yes, Evander, back in the lineup. Here's my thoughts, Tom. I think it's unfair to put crazy expectations on him. He hasn't played, and he's talked about it, like he hasn't played in almost a year. It's been almost a year since he played, and you're throwing him right into a playoff game. Now, maybe that's a good thing in that just the adrenaline will be pumping so much that he's able to slide right in there and go. And maybe from a stylistic standpoint, the adrenaline helps him out, where it's like he's so fired up because it's playoffs that he just jumps right in. But, I mean, pretty tough to put the type of expectations on a player after having multiple surgeries. This is one surgery. This is multiple surgeries, and expect him to be an absolute monster coming back on the ice. Now, maybe he will be, and maybe he's a better Evander Kane than we saw at last year's playoffs when he was playing really hurt. So interested to see exactly what he can bring, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much for this. I have my hopes up for the team that they come out and they play a way better game in this game too than they did it, especially at the start of game one. But Tom, I mean, how can Evander Kane coming back in the lineup not be a game changer? Because it certainly has the potential to be exactly that.
The number one game changer on this fine segment today. Kane, by the way, had, I'm going to list it off just as a refresher for everybody. 2 torn hip abductor muscles, 2 hernias, and 2 torn lower abdominal muscles that needed surgery. And then in January, creeping into mid-January, he had arthroscopic knee surgery, and he's been on LTIR the entire season. So you have dealt with athletic pubalgia. He had 2 athletic pubalgias, or pubalgias. I don't know the plural of it. On top of knee surgery, arthroscopic, ab muscles, lower ab muscles, and then torn hip abductors, Cass. Like, I don't expect a little bit of it. It was a potpourri of injuries. Like, I know he's confident. I know he prides himself on being in peak physical condition. He's been working hard with David Pelche to get back into game shape, quote unquote. But what is realistic expectation-wise of Evander Kane? I'm not expecting him to dipsy-doodle and dangle anybody, to be honest with you.
No, I just want to see him play in straight lines. That's what I want to see. Like, I don't think we can expect him to be quite at game speed in game one. And I know where he's starting in the lineup. Like, I get I get why you're putting him there and putting him with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and you're giving him a look because he is a guy that has been a top 6 player in the past. He is. Right. And so, he's done that more and more frequently and at a higher level than a Podkolzin, for example. Yes. Right. Like, so I get where you're going to give him a little bit of a look, but I just don't know, Tom, that he can play. Can we expect him to play 20 minutes tonight?
No,
I don't know if we can. So my expectations are that he plays somewhere in the realm of somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes, 5-on-5. He's not going to penalty kill. He's not going to power play.
Right.
And I just want to see him playing in straight lines. That's what I want. I want to see him playing in straight lines. Like, get a little physical, get around that net, get around Kemper, and play with a little bit of nasty. Like, that's what my expectation is to see a little bit of nasty. Even if it's not spectacular, just bring me a little bit of that. That's what we want to see tonight from Evander Kane.
I wouldn't mind a little nasty. I'll tell you that nasty. Much. Get a little
really
nasty. Nasty. With him and the time off that he's had and rehabilitating those surgeries and injuries that are now fixed up, Cass, we always talk about like, the timing's going to be off. He's going to be rusty. And then there's always the question like, why can't you get into game shape and game speed through practice? Can you just explain to us who have not played National Hockey League games what the difference is or how much of a shock to the system it is to be out for a prolonged period of time and then try to come back to playing a playoff game for crying out loud?
No matter what you do, it is never the same. It is never the same. Like, you could bag skate every day for like a month, to go as fast as you can in the bag skate, get your heart rate up like crazy, and you hit a real game and it's just different. It's just different. The physicality, the mental stamina that goes into it, like it wears on you different. And game speed is different. And you try in practice, but unless you're hitting guys full bore, like all out playoff hockey, like it's different. You cannot get to that level. And it could be a psychological thing. I don't know, but the reality, and I have never heard a guy say otherwise. Never heard a guy say otherwise. Is like, no matter what you do, never really prepped for that game speed until you're actually in the game adjusting to that game speed. Tom, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I've never seen a guy or heard a guy ever say that.
I don't think I have either, unless the guy was being like facetious in a post-game interview, be like, I felt great. Felt like I haven't missed a beat. Nope, I wouldn't believe you for 1 second, because every single other player ever has said, it took time, I felt rusty, had to catch up, and they kind of said what you said. But, I mean, that's why I think your point about him playing straight lines, like, maybe he's his most effective too, Cass, when he is playing straight lines and mucking it up and being physical, scoring ugly goals, right?
Yep. No, he is. That's where he's most effective. That's why I want to see that, even if it ended up being like 11 minutes or 12 minutes tonight. Like that's just what I want to see. Like, I want to see him with those straight lines and mucking up, because that's when he is his most effective. Like, he's not a guy that should be dipsy doodling. Like, he's a guy that can, when he's playing at his best, is engaged physically, is hard around the nets, is not completely menacing, but is like, he has people shoulder checking. Like, you have to be concerned that he might try to run you over. He might try to hit you from behind. Like, you just, as a defenseman, you have to be aware of him and where he is. And when he's trying to play too skilled, you lose a little bit of that. That's where, to me, for Evander Kane, the important part of his game tonight is just that straight lines. Like, give me these straight lines with a little bit of aggression. That's what I want to see.
All right, that's point number 1 of Game Changers. Evander, hips don't lie. Kane, let's go to number 2. I like how you've got like a nickname for every point, which is adorable. I appreciate that. I laughed when I saw it. Number 2, Stuart, Scapegoat, Skinner.
Yeah,
oh boy, here we go.
You know what? Here we go. I'm just building off of the last post-game show where I think I saw about 50 to 100 of those nicknames flying for me.
That's
generally
it?
to do. That's it. Well, probably more than that. A lot more than that. There was hundreds, and some of them were pretty funny. Some of them were very, very funny. So I thought I'd return the favor to the Edmonton Oilers players for what they did to me by their play in Game 1. Stuart Skinner, the scapegoat, gets blamed for everything. Still don't blame him for the game-losing goal against the LA Kings. I know there's lots of people that do. I know there was all kinds of people, close to 50% on the poll that Hernan ran, saying, well, put in Calvin Pickard instead of Stuart Skinner. Not to be the case, nor should it have been the case. Stuart Skinner was your starter, is your starter, and you're going to go back to him. You came within a goal of winning the game, and I broke the video down a lot more on Two Guys in a Goalie podcast, 12-1 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we broke it down a little bit more yesterday, where I sent some pictures to Dusty and to Joaquin, where it's just like, you watch it from behind the net angle to see generally like where the lanes are and what Stuart Skinner is seeing.
Right.
I think you lose, or you should lose, if you're actually paying attention, a little bit of the angst towards him on that goal. Now, that being said, Stuart Skinner was not very good for the rest of the game. He was very, very average or sub-average. And so Stuart Skinner needs to be a lot better today if you want to win. Now, I agree with the decision to say he needs to go back in. I agree with the decision that he is your starter, but I also need to say that if Stuart Skinner struggles really early today, I think you pull him and you put in Pickard. Like, I think you do. I don't think that's that hot of a take. Like, you gave the team a chance to work through it and him a chance to work through it last game. Now, I think this game, if the team is playing well and Stuart Skinner struggles, then you might need to make a little bit of a change here, and maybe you do it at an intermission, but you just got to be prepped for it. That overall, Stuart Skinner is going to be a huge part of this game, and we do need to see more from him tonight. We need to have him have a better game if the Oilers want to win. You can't, and there's a whole bunch of those goals that had nothing to do with him, that were his teammates making horrible passes, a la Bouche out front, right into the slot, right onto a guy's tape. Like, you had plays like that, and you want to cut those out as a team. Also, would be nice to have a little bit more from the goaltending. So here's to Stuart Skinner getting the start again, but hopefully not being the scapegoat for the Edmonton Oilers in a loss situation tonight. Let's have a good one from Stuart Skinner.
Do you think he does have a much better game, an improved game?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he bounces back, but I think a lot of that is anchored on the team bouncing back and playing much better in front of him, because that happens to anybody. Really, like, let's look at the quality of chances that the Edmonton Oilers had on Darcy Kemper. Well, they didn't have really any quality chances aside from Leon Draisaitl having one really good look in basically the first two periods of that hockey game up until they scored. Now, the second that they actually started to get a couple high danger chances, what started to happen? The puck went in, and it went in, and it went in, and it went in, and the game was tied. Right? Like, the goal that Connor McDavid scored, the last goal, was a horrible goal for a goalie to let in. Absolutely atrocious. And we'd be eviscerating Stuart Skinner if that was him. And rightfully so, we'd be eviscerating him in that instance. So I think he's better today, because I think the team overall plays a little bit better and hopefully cuts out those Evan Bouchard, I'm going to softly, gently tap this out to the slot for the LA Kings. Goodness. You get rid of those, I think he's got a lot better game, and the Edmonton Oilers have a lot better chance at winning.
All right, that was point number 2 of Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Stewart, scapegoat, Skinner. Point number 1 was Evander, hips don't lie, Kane. Of course, Game Changers brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with the agency. Let's go to point number 3 with Cass. 1-2, lock up middle, 2.
Yeah, the old 1-2 lock up the middle 2 by the LA Kings. Incredibly effective the first 2 periods against the Edmonton Oilers, where they couldn't do anything, and they tried a couple soft chips to move the puck through the neutral zone. They were basically trying to do it all by themselves. Like, they had no one available in support. And the more I chewed on that for the first 2 parts of that game, or the first 2 periods of that game, and watching through clips again, Edmonton really struggled to support the puck. They really struggled to support the puck. Like, there was, basically every time a player was carrying the puck through the neutral zone, they had no outs. Like, they were a man alone against a team that's just sitting back and trying to pressure you through the middle to the outside. And it's like, you had no play except to try to chip it and go get it yourself, and everyone else was flat-footed. I think what the Oilers started to do then more into the third period was, and maybe LA sitting back a little bit because they have a lead. They're comfortable where they're at, but Edmonton did a much better job of having short pass support. So think, the 3 to 4 foot pass. So you're maybe bigger than so 5 to 6 foot pass, where you're in close proximity in the neutral zone with the player either just behind you on an angle or just ahead of you on an angle, and they actually started to make some neutral zone passes, which helped them get zone entry, which put LA back on their heels, which gave players like McDavid and Draisaitl the ability to start to rotate with some speed in the offensive zone, and they started to get chances and put the puck in the net because of it. So beating that 1-2-2 through the neutral zone is going to be absolutely huge. LA is going to really try to batten down the hatches, especially early in this one, because they know what happens if you don't. They got a fresh taste of it in the third period the other day. So, going to be interesting to see how Edmonton deals with it, but I do truly hope they have a little bit of that extra support to deal with that at times crushing 1-2-2 through the neutral zone that the LA Kings play.
Never ever call it a 1-3-1. People in LA will get super offended. I'm just kidding. Yeah. A couple of texts to get to as we're going to welcome back Hernan into the fray. Taco. Sounds delicious right about now. I'm a little bit hungry, feeling peckish. Taco texting in says, I predict Kane will get caught up in the moment and try to do too much. I predict a bad penalty and LA will convert on it. I hope I am wrong. Corey B says, I predict a few big hits from Kane and he'll add a goal. And I'm feeling a fourth line goal. Podkolzin maybe. Ooh, that's very hopeful, and I like that. RBM texting in says, Kane just has to be physical and the way he normally is when he's fully healthy. Make Doughty and company uncomfortable. That's his bread and butter, and go to the skill. The other stuff like scoring and timing, all that will come in time. That text coming in from RBM. Keep those coming in, 780-218-9999. Let's bring in Nat. So anything you want to add, Hernan, to what Cass had to say there?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my.
Yeah, no, just on Evander Kane, you know what I liked about his presser today, guys? He's very calm. He's a vet, but he was like, yeah, I'm not like thinking too much about it. Like I'm not overthinking how my first shift's going to go, how this is going to go. Like, I'm just going to go out and play. And then Gager and I, like, guys, look at that first line. I guarantee you'll see Hyman up there with the big two dogs at one point, and you're probably going to see Arvidsson move up into that second line spot and then Perry back to the fourth. I can see some of that line juggling happening throughout the game. Not right away, not all the time, but I don't see Perry playing on that nuclear line all night. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but I do see Hyman getting the bump there with Arvidsson also moving up.
Cass, what do you think of the line changes?
I agree with you. That's a good point, Hernan. Corey Perry averages 12 minutes a night, right, during the regular season. He played 15, I think it was 15 or 16, or was it even more than that? May have been even more.
I'll check it for you.
Yeah, double check it. It may have been more. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I know he played a significant amount more minutes in game one, and I don't anticipate that carrying through. I think you do see guys start to rotate through there. Unless they just are dominant early, then he's going to roll out with them. But I could see, particularly like after penalty kills, after power plays, where someone else gets thrown in on that spot and you work some players through to and that's not a knock against Corey Perry. I mean, he's not a guy that plays 15 plus minutes a night typically. Yeah. So good
15-10.
Can I ask you guys this also, like, because I saw some pushback, not a lot, but like going nuclear. And listen, we all know why. And Tommy, you alluded to it last pregame. Every coach that comes in here is going to do it as long as they have Connor and Leon, because we saw what they did in that third period, guys. But for you guys, and it's just a question, I'm not saying I agree with it, but do you think it's too early to go to that option in this series?
I'll say this before Cass jumps in. I'll say this. I think that the strategy is to take the game early and make an impact and get a goal first. That's the way I perceive it. And if it works, because last game strategy didn't. It blew up in their face for a variety of reasons, but I think that they just want to be aggressive and get the lead first. Cass, what would you say?
Yeah, I think with how the third period went, and again, them crawling back, I do think you want to go to it here. I hate that they had to go to it last game. Yeah. In a perfect world, you're not playing those two together. You can spread it out and you're throwing punches from everywhere. But I think with the momentum that they generated in that line being dominant, you're going to try to say to them, hey, or say to the LA Kings, like, we're coming at you. We're going to try to win. We're going to try to put a couple goals in because what the LA Kings haven't had to do yet against the Edmonton Oilers in this playoffs is play from behind. And that could put them in an interesting situation where you could then maybe balance out your lines if need be. But I think going for the lead early is I'm okay with it today. I don't think you hope you don't have to play the whole series that way, but I'm fine with it heading into this one.
780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. We're almost at 11,600 subscribers. I think we're only like 3 or 4 away. So if you haven't already, please do. We appreciate you as we continue to grow Edmonton Sports Talk, a new style of radio station. You can watch us. You can listen on iHeart, TuneIn, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player. And then you can listen in podcast form to our shows on any podcast provider. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and Hernan Salas with you. I'm going to get to this text that comes in from Safety Bob. Safety Bob says, always wear your PPE. I'm kidding. He also says, I have seen the future, and this is how it will go. Oilers come out flying, but cannot beat Kemper. LA scores a weak one early in the first. Oilers open the floodgates in the second. Oilers 5-2 final. Okay. Thank you, Safety Bob. I like that, looking into your crystal ball and looking into the future. Cass, I'm going to take a peek back to last game's Game Changers segment, and your third point was create doubt.
Yeah.
And it was creating doubt in the LA Kings' minds. The Oilers didn't win that game. Crazy comeback in the third period. Do you think they created any doubt, some doubt, a lot of doubt in the LA Kings' minds?
Yeah, I think they created some doubt. Now, they would have created a lot of doubt if they would have won that game. The Oilers win that game, they win the series. I think. Not guaranteed.
Backbreaker.
I think it's an absolute crushing backbreaker, like to be up 4, to have lost to this team, 3 years in a row.
Yep.
To me, it's just they might sweep the series if Edmonton wins that game. Now, LA wins, so they maintain some of the momentum, but I think there's a little bit of doubt there because it's like, well, Edmonton turned it on, and yeah, we didn't play great, but we might have trouble with these guys, right? There's still Connor McDavid, there's still Leon Draisaitl, they're still really, really good. So I think there was just a tiny little bit of doubt. Now, it's not enough to make them go away. It's not enough that I think Edmonton's going to win 4 straight here. I don't think. But it is enough to just, you didn't give LA the mentality that, yeah, this is our year. This is our series, no matter what we're winning, right? You didn't let them get that. You didn't gift them, which is a huge gift, the idea that they're just going to roll you, right? That no matter what, you can't do anything.
And so you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I
Did I just throw you a hot potato?
No, we talked about the doubt, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Cass is saying. It's not going to be just, hey, it's going to be easy. You guys are going to roll over. And I do agree with Cass. I think if they win that game in the fashion they came back, I don't know if it was a sweep, but I'm pretty sure it was over. Probably in 5 and 6 for the Edmonton Oilers. So, yeah.
All right. Well, text us 780-218-9999. Cass, anything else that you think will be noteworthy for tonight's game?
I think Edmonton wins 8-0. So.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 8-1.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction, Cotton.
Yeah.
Bold prediction and strategy. Yeah.
Imagine. Just imagine.
Imagine.
8-0.
Well, that would be something.
That would be fun.
That would be something. If they don't win 8-0 and happen to lose by any score, how concerned are you about the series?
Well, very concerned. You're down 2-0. Pretty hard to come back from 2-0. Doesn't mean the series is over. This is a team that seems to, in the past, thrive on adversity, and they have come back from being down 2 in a series before. But you don't want to get to that point. Right? So, huge win today. It's not like it's a must-win game. It's not a must-win game till it's an elimination game. But pretty important, as they all are in the playoffs. But yeah, don't want to leave the start of a series down 2-0. 1-1 sounds way better.
How much emphasis on Nugent Hopkins tonight to have a much better game, and what does he need to do to play better and be more effective?
That's a great question. He needs to be threatening offensively at some point. Still be defensively responsible. That's going to be your primary. But that line, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in particular, needs to threaten offensively. I mean, you want them to be a plus line. You don't want them to be even or better. Your third line, fourth line, you want them even or better. Even or better, you're good. You're happy with that. You need Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' line 5-on-5 to be +1 or better. That's what you need.
We'll see if he can get it done with Hyman and Evander Kane on his flanks. Cass, this was a treat as always. Fantastic work, my friend. Fun game changers. I will see you on the post-game show.
See you, fellas. Thanks a bunch.
There's Matt Kassian, our game analyst. Game changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with the agency, looking to maybe get into the market, maybe looking to sell your place, whatever you're trying to do, Damon has got you. Check them out, DamonBunting.com, Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram. Yes, Hernan Salas.
I was just going to say, going nuclear, Gage and I discussed it. One of these lines has to step up, Tom. You got to help the big guys. And
yes.
I don't know if that's Nuge. I don't know if that's Ian Reekline. I don't know if that's Janmark, who's an awesome playoff producer, one of the best. I'll ask you this because we did get some pushback on our show about Jeff Skinner being out. But, Tom, I looked at it, and for me, there was two guys that were obvious. Jeff Skinner, who didn't have the best. Listen, I'm not saying he was terrible in game one, but he didn't stand out. And for a guy that's kind of that bubble guy in and out of lineup, he needed to do more.
Yep.
Trent Frederick only played 9 minutes. He looked like a guy who hasn't played in a long time.
He looks like a guy that's been hurt.
Yeah, so for me, it was those two guys. And, I'm not surprised. I had a buddy text me, too, and say, hey, why is Jeff Skinner out? And I'm like, straight up, because all the other guys that I know are going to be brought up, Podkolzin, Brown, Rico to a certain extent, Janmark, they kill penalties, one. And, yes, I know the penalty kill's not the best. And they're more responsible defensively. And that's what Knob wants. That's what he likes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know you weren't surprised, Tom, Jeff Skinner was out.
No.
It was the obvious choice, especially for a top six guy, right?
Yeah. And I saw some stuff about people wanting Arvidsson out and didn't see the impact he made. We know that this coaching staff will not take Arvidsson out.
No.
To keep Jeff Skinner in, ever. They didn't do it at all in the regular season.
Or Podkolzin.
They will certainly, or Podkolzin. There's a trust there.
Yeah.
They have uses for those guys. Podkolzin kills penalties. That's it. And then the other thing I'll say about Jeff Skinner and him being taken out, a lot of people, the reason why they brought up that, they would follow up with, it sucks that Jeff Skinner is out. I feel bad for him. I don't know how many times I've had people text in or text me or talk to me and say, I feel bad for him. And I totally understand the sympathy people have for him. He played over 1,000 games before getting into his first playoff game. But you feeling bad for him is not going to mean the coaching staff feels bad for him. They need guys that they know can help them win the game. And they don't feel like Jeff Skinner, feelings be damned, is the guy that's going to give them the best chance to win the game going into game number 2. That's why they took him out, especially with Evander Kane available. So, I understand and acknowledge those who feel bad for him. I get it. But this is not a game of feelings. I feel like Jeff Skinner has been a very fortuitous NHL player for a long time, and he's made a lot of money, and he has a great living, and he's been a good player. He's been an all-star. He won the Calder Trophy. But I don't feel bad that he's being taken out of the lineup because that's the business. They're in the business to win. And his game the other night did not give him the opportunity to stay in the lineup with a healthy, quote-unquote, Evander Kane ready to go.
Yeah.
It didn't justify it.
I guess I'll flip it to the defense. Is there any worry with John Klingberg? Listen,
yes. 100%.
He's an upgrade on Josh Brown. Let's be clear. Okay? He's a better passer.
Yes.
That's one of his strengths. I'm concerned about defensively. He hasn't played a lot lately. He's lost a step.
Yep.
What's your concern level with John Klingberg? And where do you see
7
his minutes? 8 to 10, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything 8 to 10 minutes. As long as he can, let's see where he's better. Let's just go right now where he's better than Josh Brown. Better hands, better first pass, better hockey instincts and IQ. Okay?
Yeah.
where he's about the same, probably skating wise. He should be a better skater than Josh Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, two hips that have been surgically repaired. And then, oh my God, Lieutenant Eric. Read it on air. I'll read it on air. He has just slipped me a paper. Play Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. P.S. My friend thinks you're hot. Oh my goodness. Lieutenant Eric is here. Come on down, hang out with
Tell
Lieutenant
him to save
Eric.
me a seat.
I did tell him to save you a seat. I texted him. Anyway, John Kleber. Okay, so his skating ability right now, maybe not as good as Josh Brown's. It should be better. Who are we kidding here? Better head for the game, better first pass, better hands. I think more trust and reliability. He's played in the playoffs. There's a few reasons. He's a veteran guy, but I think he's a step up over Josh Brown.
Yeah.
How much of a step up? We can argue about that, but I think he's going to be more effective than Josh Brown as long as he can make a decent first pass.
Yeah, and it's going to be that? They're going to and LA played essentially 4 guys too.
They did.
Yeah.
Brant Clark and Jordan Spence hardly played.
Yeah, so it's pretty much 4 defensemen against 4 defensemen, and where Emerson played a little bit more than the 2 young guys for LA, which surprised me a little bit, Tom. I'm not going to lie. I thought Emerson did fight it a bit in the first game, but I think it's a positive that Kane draws back in. I agree with Cass where we gotta if he's kind of quiet tonight or whatever, Tom, we gotta realize this guy hasn't played since last June. So
June 10th.
But he's jumping into the top 6 for a reason. He's ready to go. He's as healthy as he's ever been here in Edmonton, I guess. So that's what he kind of alluded to today. His mouth is gonna, it's gonna create some issues on the ice, and that's what we want, man. Like
perfect.
Him, Frederick, Podkolzin, they're all physical guys. Podkolzin doesn't talk much, but no one wants to mess with him. You got Darnell on the back end who can muck it up a bit. So I like the feistiness of this group. I'm not a big fan of going nuclear, but I understand why he's doing it. He wants to jump on them early, hopefully get a 1-2 goal lead because then LA has to change their game completely. So I get it to a certain extent. But, Tom, I think they need more from the other guys when they go nuclear. Like, Nuge just got to step up. He was
100%,
not very good
100%.
in game 1. Rico, same thing. Like, they need so much more from other guys. It can't just be those guys, man. Like, and that's what worries me because let's play this game where let's say the Oilers struggle tonight and drop the game. What's the next card Knobloch plays? Seriously.
I honestly don't know.
Outside of a change in net.
Switches up the lines like he always does anyway. And a change in net, yes. Okay, we're going to go inside the Oilers locker room from this morning. I'll read a couple texts really quickly. Timber Woodsman, who's very adamant, he's texted this into a bunch of shows today, says, Janmark goal tonight. Stands by it. Uncle Dave texting in says, I'm personally fine with the nuclear option for this game. I see it as mopping up last game and trying to refresh the series to be a best of 5. Not sustainable long-term, though. Uncle Dave with that text. Okay, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Jonathan Davis from SiriusXM NHL Network Radio will be joining us in a few minutes, but until then, let's hear from Evander Kane playing his first game since June 10th, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final.
Ready to get back in the lineup? I know it's been quite the grind for you.
Yeah, it's been obviously a long time since I last played a game, and nice to get in and get an opportunity to contribute.
What's going to be the toughest part, you think, trying to get back, your timing, your legs, your wind?
I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that at all. Just thinking about what I'm going to do to try to help the team win, and not really think it's my first game. It's the playoffs. It's game 2. We're down 1-0 in the series, so the thinking is not going to help me.
Did you ever wonder if you're going to play this year?
Nope. No. I was always very confident that I'd be back playing. So obviously, was unsure when that was going to happen, but looking forward to tonight.
What are your emotions like as you prepare for a game like this when you've been away for so long?
I don't know. I think right now it's pretty mellow. Probably when you get into the game and go out for warm up and come into this hostile environment, be a little bit more excited and ready to go.
getting a chance to start with Nugent Hopkins at Hyman. What do you think about that line and what you guys can maybe do to help?
Yeah, we've had a dozen or so games together over the past. Two really hardworking guys. I think if we play our game and keep things simple, great opportunity to have some success together.
Evander, how would you describe the journey since your last playoff game, or last game with the team, and now finally coming back? How would you describe it?
Long. But I was prepared for, obviously, missing a good chunk of time, obviously with the injury I had and the surgery I had. So that wasn't unexpected. But it's nice to feel strong, nice to feel healthy, and looking forward to getting on the ice.
Yeah, last year in the playoffs, you were kind of laboring. Obviously, you're playing with something. Is this different this time? You're healthy and ready to go. And how much?
It's night and day. Yeah, it's night and day from the last time you saw me in a playoff game to hopefully tonight. But hopefully it looks that way at least. So we'll see.
Guys, you, with your experience, tend not to be nervous for a game like this. Mm-hmm. What emotions? What are the emotions for a guy who's played a lot of games in the league?
You know what? It probably helps that we've played this team 4 years in a row. So it feels like any other game. Playing the Kings in this barn, I enjoy it. It's fun atmosphere to play in, and there might be a little nervousness, but nothing that's going to impact my game in a negative fashion.
What did you see out of this team last game, and what can you add?
Yeah, I think it's no secret we got off to a bit of a slow start in the first two periods. And then Davo really powered a comeback late in the third there, which is incredibly impressive. And, I think it just, coming in, we understand we have to start on time and be ready to go off the hop. And, we can't spot, out of every single team in the league, a team like LA, 4 goals. I don't know if we're going to be able to come back every single time like that. So, getting the lead's important. Scoring first is always nice. And I think we're going to try to look to do that tonight.
Okay, there's Evander Kane. No lack of confidence there, making his return to the lineup for the first time since June 10th, 2024. Mm-hmm. He had 6 things fixed via surgery, and then he had a knee surgery after that, and now he is finally ready to play, so we'll see what kind of impact he can have. I do appreciate the comment about don't think, just play. Yeah. And I heard Joaquin on EST Afternoons with you talking about that. And yeah, just go let your instincts take over. And the simple game will go a long way. He can play it. He can play it very effectively. If he brings the physicality and makes the Kings defense think twice, I think that's a positive, man. And if he scores an ugly goal or creates a chance that leads to a goal, fantastic. Evander Kane back in action. In for Jeff Skinner. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. We're live on location at Hudson's Bourbon Street. And it's pretty full here. A ton of Oiler jerseys, naturally. A lot of nasties that are here. They reserved their tables. Great to see. We've got Sarah and Cal in the park. I saw them. I saw a Teef wheel his way in here. I did see another couple rocking that new EST NWO t-shirt that was available. Limited prints of those via the 780. I think they sold out really quickly. And I don't even have one. Hernan doesn't even have his. So those out there, the nasties in the wild that have it, well done. I know Jay and Andrea have theirs. Lieutenant Eric is here. Sean Bell is on his way. And you'll also see Dusty Nielsen here. You're going to see Hernan Salas here. I think YouTube Trev's planning on coming down. Rip City Step, VR Montenegro, who just dropped this off for me before we welcome in Jonathan Davis. I am right at the front of Hudson's Bourbon Street. Just to the when you walk in, I'm tucked in the corner here. It does say, please grab a seat. There are 49-cent wings and $6 house pints for tonight. I am not the DJ. You will see the on-air light. You will see our EST banner. And VR Montenegro just slipped me this piece of paper that says, play Born Slippy by Underworld, almost 30 years later, and still a banger. That is the third song request he has made tonight. I am not the DJ. He is showing up shortly. There will be a DJ here. They also have 6 o'clock or lager. Only a few left. I'll probably finish those off tonight. And they're going to restock them for the next time around. All right, I see our next guest is ready to go. Jonathan Davis from SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, host of the Ice Cap, our dear friend who covers the LA Kings. He covers Anaheim, I should say. He covers Vegas and San Jose. He's our Pacific Division guru, if you will. JD, welcome back. You're not in Mexico. You're not in some kind of tropical location. You're hunkered down in the man cave with your 94 screens that your wife allows you to have. What's going on, JD? Good to see you.
Man, I was in Vegas last night. That was a lot of fun. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I get 2 minutes for delay a game for coming on a little late, guys. I, for some reason, had 6:30 Pacific on the brain. But all good. Yeah, no, it's been a crazy, 4 or 5 days, and to start the Stanley Cup playoffs, but loving every minute of it.
Hernan's very upset with you, and by very upset, I mean not at all. So we're just glad to have you on. JD, before we dive into the Oilers and Kings series, if you were in Vegas last night, like I said, you are well-traveled when it comes to the Pacific Division. It was a 5-2 mini win. What were some of your takeaways and things you noticed about that game that Oilers fans might be curious to know?
Well, I thought, credit the Wild for a big adjustment that they made. The Golden Knights love to rim the puck around the boards, and Minnesota took that away from Vegas from the get-go, and it forced Vegas to start either putting the puck up the middle or chipping pucks from the wall into the middle, and both things didn't work out very well for the Golden Knights. So that was a big adjustment that Minnesota made, and that Vegas just couldn't counterattack that adjustment. The other thing was Mark Stone and Jack Eichel in the same game had their worst games that I've seen them have. One shot on goal between the two of them. And Shea Theodore's performance last night made Evan Bouchard look like a Norris Trophy winner in Game 1. A -4, on the ice for the first 4 goals. I had one Vegas person tell me he has not seen a performance like that in all of his years from any Golden Knight, like what Theodore had. So, it's just one of those nights that credit the Wild for the adjustments that they made, but I would anticipate Vegas to be far better in Game 3.
A 5-2 loss for the Golden Knights. That series even up. Incredible words to hear you say that there is a defenseman out there with great offensive ability have a worse night than Evan Bouchard. My goodness, a sigh of relief for some Oiler fans. All right, JD, let's shift the focus back to this Oilers and Kings series. The Kings are up 1-0 after a crazy 6-5 Game 1. What were some of your takeaways and observations from that first game of this series, which ended up being absolutely berserk?
Yeah, look, 4-0. I was telling people, I don't know, we're done. Like, game's over. Time for Edmonton to move on, and we're gonna, we may see some, a little bit of chippiness here. But then, you can never count out 97 and 29, and we saw that, right to the end. That shot on the bench that Hockey Night had, or Sportsnet had, of Leon all PO'd just before he scored that first goal, kind of just, it tells you that, hey, we're not giving up. And why would you come playoff time? So, look, the biggest concern for me is what, going into the series, is what, I kind of alluded to with the loss of Ekholm, and how do you compensate for it? And you can't. Like, they don't have a guy that's going to replace what he offers. So that's still a concern for me. Now, having Evander Kane pop back in the lineup, I like it. It's going to give this team, another scorer. It's going to give this team some nastiness. We all know the way Kane plays. So plus there, but I still have the same concern about the back end, and John Klingberg coming in tonight doesn't help that. And does not increase the Evans, chances of being better defensively. We know what Klingberg's about. It's an interesting move, but that's really, Chris Knobloch doesn't have a lot of options right now. So, he knows better than all of us about why this is, a better move than keeping Josh Brown in the lineup.
Hernan, what do you got for JD?
Yeah, JD, good to hear from you again, my friend. I think this is the first time in all the years you've joined our show that I think I have a better tan than you. Is that fair?
Oh!
Hernan, my problem is that I'm like locked in. Like it's terrible. I mean, I'm stepped away from the beach right now, and it's killing me. I get out for maybe a little hour. I try to go for a run in the morning, but playoff time between my work for XM, the betting column that I write for VSiN, there's not a lot of time, and trying to take in at least 6 hours of hockey a day. It's very
In fairness, I just got back from Mexico, so I cheated a little bit. But Jonathan, on the LA side, do you see any the effects of that third period? Like they were in control, and then 97 decided to go, what 97 does, and just go off in that game and will the Oilers back into that. Do you see did that put any doubt into the LA Kings, even though they won the game, that holy smokes, these guys can come back at any time?
No, because I don't think that, anytime that you've got 97 and 29 on the other side, they can always come back. The fact that they did it, sure, is concerning. And I like what Drew Doughty said to Gene Principe, after the game, that it was a great win. But, if we lost, it would have been kind of bleep. And, I think the bigger takeaway would be that Edmonton solved Darcy Kemper on home ice. Like that's, that goal that Connor scored to tie the game was one that, we LA fans haven't been accustomed to see Darcy giving up, especially at home. So I think for Edmonton, it's more of a boost. But hey, look, at the end of the day, LA has played playoff hockey pretty much the entire year. There's no adjustments that they need to make to their game. It's just, okay, how do you defend the two best players, or arguably two of the best players in the NHL? And now, and so that's going to be, that doesn't change. So I don't think that there's any self-doubt that comes into the Kings' mind. It's just, we've got to go back, continue playing our game. And if we can execute our game, we believe we can win. I still think there's more question marks on the Edmonton side, and I've never felt that way. The 3 previous years, and I'm sure I've heard you guys on Tom in the morning on your EST show. I mean, you guys are talking about that all the time. I mean, it's a totally different year this year.
Jonathan,
go ahead.
Tom. Essentially, both teams used 4 defensemen in game 1, and for the Oilers side, you can kind of understand it because Josh Brown, you knew he wasn't going to play a lot. A little surprised Emerson didn't get more minutes, but on the LA side, like Jordan Spence, Brant Clark, they were good in the regular season. They played their minutes. Is this something you can see going forward where those guys are going to be limited again, or was it just a game situation that didn't allow those 2 young guys to get more ice time?
I think that ultimately, as the game gets, at 4-0 and even 5-2, more time. Yeah. But I think that, as this game starts to get tighter, if the game gets tighter, I think it's going to be very similar to what the Blackhawks did during their cup runs, guys, when they were basically a 4D team. So, Brant Clark's game has evolved over the course of the year. They've tried to protect him in those defensive situations. They don't really, they try not to play him too many times in those D-zone starts. So to answer your question, I think, the score will dictate their usage at the end of the day.
Jonathan Davis with us, host of the Ice Cap on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas with you as well. You can text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat. I've got one for you here, JD, and it has a lot to do with that third period. And something that Matt Kassian talked about was creating doubt in the minds of the LA Kings. Do you think that third period that the Oilers did have, despite the fact they didn't win and they blew that opportunity when they played McDavid and Draisaitl and their top guys 4 out of the 5 last minutes, do you think they did create any doubt for the LA Kings in that third period?
Well, you could use the word doubt, or it just reinforces that, we've got to play, 60 minutes. I mean, it's cliche, but ultimately that's really what it comes down to. You can't let up. Like, that's really been, to me, LA's DNA is that, I would say they're better since the Kuzmenko trade because he has lengthened the lineup, and he's played far better than anybody thought. I mean, let's make no mistake. Like, they gave up a 3rd-round draft pick, and the Flyers are paying half of his salary. This was not a guy that they had thought was going to flourish the way he has, but he has, and so they're better. But ultimately for LA, to me, the sum of the parts are greater than any one individual. And so they don't have, not too many teams have a McDavid and a Draisaitl, but they really have to play they've got to be at their best every night, or they're not going to win. But they still, Tom and Hernan, I still think they've got the advantage matchup. They're better in goal in theory, I believe. They're better on the blue line. They maybe even been, now with the way that, like, for me, the guy that surprised me the most is Kevin Fiala. I mean, we heard from Alex Laferriere about a week or two before the season ended, and my jaw dropped when Laferriere said Fiala's not cheating the game anymore. We all know he did, but to hear one of his teammates actually come out and say he's not cheating the game anymore, and he's right, he's not. But that guy, for every one good play he would make, he'd make two bad ones. So, now they've got Fiala, they've got Kuzmenko, and they've got Kempe. And Kempe, I think it's now 12 goals in 3+ playoff years against the Edmonton Oilers.
Nanso, any more for JD before I fire one more at him?
No, I'm good.
All right, last one for you. Jonathan Davis joining us from SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. JD, just what are your expectations for Game 2? Is this a situation where the Oilers go in and they take a game out of LA, or is it going to be a struggle, or are we going to see a repeat of last game without the comeback? What's your gut feeling going into this one?
Well, one thing I'll say is that I think we're going to see a lot of goals. I mean, the history between these two teams in the playoffs is we get 6 goals or more. 15 of the last 19 playoff games between Edmonton and LA have had at least 6 goals. Now, for Edmonton's sake, it better mean that they win the game 4-2 if we're going to have 6 goals or more, or 5. You have to hold LA to 2. Guys, they're 41-0-2 now, including game 1 of the playoffs, when LA scores 3 goals or more. So you better not let them score 3 tonight, because it's going to make life really tough.
Somebody tell that to Stu Skinner. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. JD, great to see you. Thank you for hopping on tonight. We're going to have to do this again. You know how it goes with the Oilers and the Kings. There's a long series ahead of us, I'm sure. So enjoy the game, and all the best, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for having me.
There's Jonathan Davis, host of the Ice Cap on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. He also has his betting show. I can't remember the name. I want to just get it out there. Give it a little love. For JD, where is he? West Coast Hockey. You can follow him on X at West Coast Hockey, hockey with no vowels. And he is on, is it VS in Live? The show is called the NHL Betting Analyst Show. So go check him out there as well. I hope I didn't butcher that. JD, did I butcher it? He's still on. Veasan.com. There we go. All right. Thanks, JD. Yeah, we will enjoy the game. There you go. I totally butchered that. Daily column for Veasan.com. He had a different betting show. That's why I was like, geez, I can't remember the name of it. My bad. But he's awesome. Check him out. He covers the Kings, Ducks, Golden Knights, Sharks, and used to do Coyote stuff, but they are now in Utah. So there you go. Yeah. So anything you want to take out of that? Yeah.
Yeah. Great to have him on. And you know what? We've had Jonathan and we've had Dennis Bernstein on. We had John Hoven on Monday. The confidence is there for this LA team more than it's been in the 3 years. Like, I think all 3 gentlemen have said it. Like, if there's 1 year to beat the Oilers, it's this year. You know, you don't have Ekholm. The roster's been kind of up and down outside of Draisaitl, right, Tommy? The goaltending's a little suspect. The special teams has also been up and down. Like, the Oilers don't come in, riding high and full of confidence, right? They dealt with a handful of injuries in March and into April. A lot of their big guys out. So, I'm sensing a lot of confidence in LA with this team. And I mean, when you have a team with a guy like Drew Doughty and Anze Kopitar, Tom, and I'll throw Kemper in there. I know Joaquin Kidd, and he said, anyone could have played in that Colorado team and net and won, but I still think Kemper's a good goalie. He was not good in game 1.
Nope.
Either was Stuart Skinner. But for me, it's these guys want to come in tonight, Tommy, and just put the Oilers away. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. I just don't know if it's going to be possible for them to, unless you get a bad goal or two on Stu Skinner. which
That's
is
what
possible.
I mean. Again, and if the Oilers gift wrap goals like they did last game, because they pretty much gave him 3-4 goals where LA was just like, thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, those giveaways were egregious. Defensive plays were egregious. That needs to be cleaned up by the Oilers. Yes, Evan Bouchard is suspect numero uno. All right, I want to get to some texts. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. I will update you on what's going on around the National Hockey League tonight. 3 games. Oilers Kings are the late one. The Avs and Stars are about to get going right away here. You got the Capitals leading the Habs 2-1, and they just fired one into the empty net 3-1. That is going to do it for game number 2 between the Caps and the Habs. Oh, Riley's here from the JPHL and Silent Ice. Great guy, good coach. I think he was with the Saints last year. All right, let's get to some text here. Dawn from Edmonton, she says, good evening. Fans need to remember that professional hockey is a business. Feelings are put aside, for goodness sake. This is big boy hockey, folks. Thank you, Dawn from Edmonton. Thank you, Dawn. Good reminder. That's what I want people to know.
I agree.
Feelings aside, because there's a lot. And where Dawn's text comes from, if you weren't listening before or watching before, we're talking about Jeff Skinner, and people are like, I feel bad for him. That was a lot of the sentiment. It was recurring. You'd hear that, I just feel so bad for him. Guess what? The coaches don't care. Maybe they feel bad for him, but it doesn't matter. You can feel bad for him, and he ain't playing. Evander Kane's in. The Wolf says, I got off work early, boys, leaving Fox Creek right now. Someone saved the Wolf 2 seats at Hudson's. Then the Wolf says, I guess the Wolf's not coming. No seating. Have a good show, boys. It is busy in here.
Yeah.
It is busy in here. I think the staff, Steve and the crew, are doing everything they can to accommodate as many people as possible. Dusty Nielsen just showed up. Cal in the Park and Sarah are here. VR Montenegro has requested 3 songs. I am not the DJ. So help me, you know who. Lieutenant Eric is here. Sean Bell will be here shortly. YouTube Trev just showed up. Atif is here. I also saw a couple other EST nasties. It's going to be great.
So, Tom, you suggest I go down, or am I going to be standing in a corner?
You are coming down here. You're going to join everybody. You're going to have a bite to eat and a beverage. You're going to have a great time. That's what I'm suggesting to you.
A nice ginger
ale. Yeah, you can have a ginger ale. I'll buy you a ginger ale, okay? Mark from Arizona texting in says, Tommy Nanso, he's got it 100%. You need more from the ghosts in the lineup, especially Nuge. He has been non-existent, but Rico, Arvidsson, Bouchard, my goodness, Bouchard, get there together and realize these chances to play for a cup don't just happen each year. Hopefully tonight they show some heart and desire to win. Give it all they have. Mark from Arizona. Good text, Mark. Byron chiming in. Byron says, hey, boys, big game. Need the split tonight. The wife and I are driving in Friday from Winnipeg. We're going to Sunday's game, wondering what establishment Edmonton Sports Talk will be at for Game 3. Byron from Winnipeg. Well, thank you, Byron. We will be live on location at the Canadian Ice House at Ice District. Get your reservations in as early as possible. As we can see here at Hudson's Bourbon Street, it is pretty busy. It's a lot of reservations being made and have been made, and people getting their tables. It's getting pretty full. And listen, if there's no shows, they'll open things up. And just so come on down, take a look, and hopefully you can get yourself seated here at Hudson's Bourbon Street. So Canadian Ice House for games 3 and 4. Let's go to Twitter Mary, who's texting in. Twitter Mary says, I'm excited to see Kane after all this time. What needs to happen is number 2 needs to do his job. That's Evan Bouchard. Like, seriously, he has been a hockey player for how long? And he seems to not know how to do his damn job. Just do your job, man. Anyway, looking forward to tonight, and we'll check back at the postgame. Twitter Mary. Twitter Mary is fired up. I added that expletive. She didn't really text in a swear. Timberwoodsman says, these LA guys are all pumping the team's tires. The Oilers need to play half as well, and the Oilers win that first game. I don't necessarily disagree with Timberwoodsman. The Oilers were sloppy. They weren't they were not dangerous in the first 2 periods.
And
right? Like, not at all. Not threatening.
And listen, we all saw the comeback, and it was great, and it was fun. It didn't last long. But I think that kind of covered up how bad the Oilers were in the first 40 minutes, Tom. We can't forget that. Like,
They were bad.
LA was, the second period by LA that's the recipe for them. That's what they want to look back at and say, if we play like that, boys, they ain't going to win. The Oilers, what do they got to do today, Tom? They got to crash the net, shoot the damn puck, stop passing it off in good scoring plays.
Yes.
You need Stuart Skinner to make the big save. 1. That's all I'm asking for is 1. Make 1 more than Darcy Kemper. Special teams got to improve. The Oilers got to start getting that juice going on the power play. The PK's got to, that's a deadly power play. LA's really good with the 5-forward unit. I was impressed with Andre Kuzmenko, man. Like, in the first game, I thought he was all over it. Interesting point by Fiala, by JD on Fiala. Like, when players are saying he's not cheating the game anymore, he looked great in that first game. Kempe, what did he say? He has 12 goals in the last 3 rounds against Edmonton. Like, Kempe's a killer, man. I
won some money betting that Kempe would score.
Of course.
As per
money,
Jay Milne's request. Oh, Corey B's here. Oh, my God, Corey B. Hi, Corey B. You look great. Thomas Bartholomew Gazzola. Play Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Winky Face XOXO. That's from Corey B. That's now 4 song requests from all these nasties who are total bulls. And that's why I love them. Too funny. Too funny. All right, let's get your updated lines here. Starting lineup always brought to you by Southport Chev. For the Oilers tonight, McDavid between Draisaitl and Perry. RNH between Kane and Hyman. Trent Frederick with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. And then you've got Matthias Janmark sliding back to center. He'll be between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. On defense for the Oil tonight, Nurse paired up with Bouchard. Wallman with Klingberg. Kulak with Emerson. No Jeff Skinner. Feelings be damned. Kasperi Kapanen out. Max Jones out. Josh Brown out. Derek Ryan out. As for the LA Kings, Zach Dooley with the updated lines for tonight. Because Jim Hiller is not giving away lineup stuff and not discussing lineup stuff during morning press conferences. He made that statement today. You got Kopitar. Yeah, Kopitar between Kuzmenko and Kempe. Good first line. Deneau with Fogle and Moore. That line did damage the other night. Byfield between Fiala and Laferriere. That's a good line. Hellenius with Malott and Turcotte. That line did not play a lot the other night. On defense, Anderson with Doughty. Gavrikov with Spence. Edmondson with Brant Clark. Jacob Movarare taking line rushes. With that happening, Zach Dooley, Kings Insider, points out that we could see an 11-7 Kings lineup tonight. Darcy Kemper starts in goal for LA. No surprise there. Stu Skinner between the pipes for the Edmonton Oilers. Stuart! Both guys with an 800 save percentage so far in this postseason through 1 game. Kemper, 5.0 GA. Skinner, 626. Those are some nasty numbers in a bad way. Hernan Salas, what you got?
Yeah, no, you're looking at 2 guys, Tom, and it's 2 guys that have taken a lot of heat this whole season. Number 2, number 74. Again, I loved your guys' conversation on the Hangout. I thought it was great on Stuart Skinner. Like, we got to get away from blaming every goal on the goalie. Yes, you need a save. Yes, he needs to be better. There's no debating that. But also Bouchard, for the amount he plays, Tom, 28 minutes. And I know the analytics are they start throwing numbers at us and all that, but
they do.
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, he touches the puck a lot. Well, make better plays, because 2 of the plays you made cost your team 2 goals, and you lost by 1. So for me, that's those 2 guys. There's a lot of pressure on them, Tom. They're young guys too, but hey, man, you're in the dance. We had Corey Hirsch on, and we asked him about both players, and he goes, the deal with those guys, they just got to remember what got them there last year, man. Keep it simple. Stop trying to do too much, especially for Evan Bouchard. Just play your game, man. And Gager brought it up in highlights, lowlights. Like, we highlighted the 2 goals that Bouchard turned over, Tommy. And it's a lot of it has to do because he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want.
Did anybody defend him by any chance? Like, if they did, I think that's ridiculous.
Well, today on the Hangout, I know they were saying, well, if Darnell Nurse makes a better play on the board, look at the play. Bouchard's going down the boards. He's being chased. He looks He hits it off the wall to Nurse. Who was there first, Tom? Kempe.
Was it Kempe? Yeah.
Yeah. So why would you drop that pass when you see Kempe on Nurse? I mean, I don't know what you want Nurse to do there. What Joaquin said is skate the puck to the corner, eat it, or try to skate around. Like, you have two legs, man. Like, it's just because he wants no part of contact, Tom.
I think a great example of that is on the game-winning goal as well. He doesn't want to clear out Warren Foegele, and Foegele jumps, and I know it was a fluff shot, but it found its way past Stu Skinner. So,
Tom, look at that.
Point.
Look at the winning goal. Look at Evan Bouchard. He wants no part of contact with
That's
Warren
what I
Foegele.
said.
Yeah, like
exactly.
It's terrible. And then the one that's
not like Fogel's going to hurt him.
No, they're buddies.
Yes.
But not just that. The one he's trying to get to McDavid, he's trying to make that pass, Tom, also because he doesn't want to get hit. He still got hit, but it's Bouchard, man. Like, I don't know where that Bouchard from last year's playoff went, man, but they need him back ASAP. ASAP.
Yes, they do. ASAP for sakes. Let's rattle off a few texts, and then, oh my goodness, a fifth or sixth song request has come in. Cal in the Park and Sarah think they're hilarious. They're staring and laughing at me. VR Montenegro. Where do you have these little note papers from? Are you hiding those in your pocket?
I'll be down there soon. I'll put a stop to that.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Let's go to Potato Salad Jesse. What a name. Dallas and Edmonton will keep meeting in the playoffs just like in the 90s. Both teams will win tonight, says Potato Salad Jesse. I could use some potato salad right now. Delicious. I love potato salad, Nanso.
Oh, me too, buddy.
Justin texting in says, Tony, give our sensitive male area a tug and destroy them. Let's go. Signed, Justin. Full of expletives, as usual. Thank you, Justin. I expect nothing more, and I'm impressed. Troll says, Logan Thompson just shut the door. Stone Montreal in the third. I would like to see an Oilers goalie do that. Yes, sir. 2-0. The Caps lead that series now after tonight's win. Juan says, Tom, could you play the playoff song? I don't have access to it. Do you, Nanso?
No. I mean, I can search for it, but
I know the boys played it to end the
how about
Reed
this?
Wilkins show.
I'll have it ready for Friday.
You'll look it up?
Yes.
Okay, for Friday. Sounds good. Scalding Gourd sends in a photo of Peter Griffin holding a box of grenades, about to pull the pin on one, and says, Evan Bouchard in his own zone. Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Scalding Gourd. Appreciate that. We will we'll see if we can add the songs to the rotation. Those are, I know the boys used to at the old station keep them in the vault. I think I heard a conch on the Reed Wilkins show as well, which I don't think anybody has told me.
Though, right?
That's a no. Oh no, that would have been Jay playing it.
No,
after 7 a.m. It doesn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't exist after 7 a.m. And then Pizza Guy Justin says, sounds like 5-3 late. Pizza Guy Justin, does being cross-eyed, that was later, or from earlier. Justin the Pizza Guy texting in just now saying, does being cross-eyed reduce your vision when turning your head? I know what you mean. I will not even answer that, Pizza Guy Justin. I will end this show on our fine station with a thank you to everybody who tuned in. Whether you listened or whether you watched, we appreciate you very much. I will also say thank you to Jonathan Davis from SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. You can catch him with his column on Visson Live. And this last request, I am not the DJ here, but this last request from Cal in the Park and Sarah and VR Montenegro says, play yourself off with I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. You deserve it. You guys are crazy, and I love you. Thank you. Look at all these song requests. I am not the DJ. I'm here to work my butt off. We did, as we get you set for the Oilers and the Kings. Game 2, Evander Kane making his return. Oilers looking to come back to Edmonton with a series split. Can they get the job done? We shall see. For Matt Kassian and Hernan Salas, I am Tom Gazzola saying thank you as always. Enjoy Game 2. We'll see you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Bye-bye.